This is Eric Mother with Mother.com. In this video, I want to take a look at the different types of calendars that could be in use. And what I mean by that is, first and foremost, let's take a look at where markets are trading for July 22nd, 2020. All right, so I often wonder whether those who manipulate the market, and yes, the market is most definitely manipulated, has always been anyway. I always wonder whether they use different calendars than the one we use in the Western world. And sometimes you can see it. There's evidence that they're actually using the Zodiac calendar. And what I mean by that is, if you take a look at where the S&P 500 made a high, so this high on the S&P 500 from early 2020 in February took place around, let's call it February 18th, 19th, somewhere around there. Now, that might not be significant, but if you're sensitive to the Zodiac dates, you'll see that that date is not too trivial, because it happens to be around this transition here from Aquarius to Pisces. All right. So trust me, that was not a coincidence. In fact, if I was to be honest, it's pure manipulation. And if I'm to be honest, frankly, why not? So the highs took place on that date. Now, what is interesting is, let's take a look at the lows. Somewhere here. Now, the lows take place around March 23rd, 22nd, somewhere around there is where we get the lows here, depending on whether you take the intraday lows, daily lows, or the weekly closing lows. At any rate, this is where we get the lows. The early 20s on the month of March 2020. Well, it so happens to coincide with this transition again from March 20th or around March 20th to March 21st as you move from Pisces. And I'm talking about the transition from Pisces here towards March 20th and moving into Aries, which is March 21st. Again, let me sensitize you. This is not coincidence, quote unquote. That was precisely the target date. So what I'm saying is, it doesn't take much time, but we do need to add this into our thinking, because sometimes some of these dates do become critical in changing the market's landscape. And keep in mind, there's many calendars, so we don't know which one is in play at any particular moment in time. All right, so let me digress a little bit here and I'll come back to the Zodiac sign. All right. A couple months ago, I talked about the probability, and it's just a guess, a probability, fun guess in a way, that we might be being offered a number 6 diet. What do I mean by that? Well, it took 6 weeks to come from the highs here to the lows. And if we were to play some fun games and multiply this by 3, we end up with 18. Now, if you count how many weeks since the lows, you realize we are on week number 18 since the lows. Now, I'm not saying this is something you go and bet the whole house on, but you always want to keep some of these things just in the frame of mind in case you start seeing other things adding up. The key here is, this is just adding color to the picture. All right, let me get back on message so we can see today being July 22nd. We're getting close to this intersection into the next Zodiac month. So if you are seeing signs of a pullback and the Zodiac sign seems to be aligning, and also given the fact that the weeklies are adding up to 18 since the lows, all these things, I'm just saying, Actually, I think let me make this important point. The point of this video is very simple. You do not know what is controlling the market. Neither do I. Nobody does. Only a few people do. And they are the ones able and actively controlling the market. So once you respect that, it actually does key you to the sensitivity of understanding that if things are not going in the direction, if your trades are not moving in the direction you are suspecting, don't fight the trend, because the trend could be stronger than you can understand or appreciate. So again, just understand and appreciate there's much more going on than what you see as surface movement. So it's best not to fight the trend, but rather ride the trend. Remember, it's an inorganic software that mimics price action. I'll have the link to the previous video as concerns the numbers of wicks to be on the lookout for in the description of the video. This is Eric Muadh with Muadh.com. Love and light, light and love. Namaste.